On 8:52 a.m. and it's time now to look at South Africa, looking at new driving laws. And the question that is being raised is, could the Aarto Amendment Act and the draft Aarto regulations be favoring profit over road safety? And we're joined on the line this morning by Howard Dembovsky, chair of the Justice Project South Africa. Howard, good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning to you and good morning to the listeners.
Right, looking at our new driving laws in the country, and I've seen an article and this headline says South Africa's new driving laws have just hit a serious roadblock. And this is according to an analyst. And just understanding what these laws or the amended Aarto Act all in South Africa would actually mean. And just looking at from your aspect, just some of the key issues, some of the critical issues that stand out for you, Howard.
Well, look, one of the critical issues of this is that it appears to be more centered around revenue generation than road safety itself. And let me tell you why I actually say that. The amended Aarto Act makes reference to the delivery of infringement notices either via post or electronically. And it gives an issuing authority up to 60 days to issue and deliver an infringement notice to the person concerned. So, obviously they regard road traffic infringements as being such a serious affair that they can take 2 months to tell you that you've committed an infringement for the very first time. And in that 2 months, the question must be asked, how many other infringements have you actually committed?
Yes. Now, what is important to understand is when we're talking about profit over road safety, and it's interesting to note the increase as far as fines are concerned. And we see this all the time where there is this view that fines have tripled, fees have actually doubled as well.
Yes. Well, it's not a view, it's a fact. In terms of the Aarto Amendment Act, they have tripled most of the fines and doubled the demerit points and the fees. They've also gone and added an altogether extraneous levy, which they call the infringement penalty levy, which is not discountable. It's 100 Rand per infringement notice. And it's not very clear at what stage this would actually be applied. So it goes and adds an extra 100 Rand to whatever your fine might be. It's very clear that they are prioritizing profit over road safety, to be very frank with you. And that appears in simple things like the cost of the fine for not strapping a child into a child seat is 1,500 Rand. And I think it carries one demerit point. However, the cost of failing to update your details on e-notice within 14 days is 3,500 Rand. And no demerit points.
Yes. Now, also, Howard, I think when one looks at the numbers, when one looks at statistics, it is something to seriously think about. And considering that there are millions of these fines that are issued countrywide, and looking at the bigger picture and the amount of money these fines are likely to generate.
Yes, indeed. Let me give you another example. They consider going through a red traffic light or failing to stop at a stop speed to be a petty affair. It carries 2 demerit points with it. But yet, the speeding infringements, what they have done is they've reduced the increments between the tolerance of the speed limit that you're exceeding to be every 2 kilometers an hour over 10 kilometers an hour over the speed limit. And the fines go up and up and up and up and up because, clearly our authorities are of the opinion that reckless driving is not the cause of road traffic crashes. What is the cause of road traffic crashes is people drive too fast. Now, that's utter nonsense. Inconsiderate driving, incidentally, and I think this is the kind of thing that irritates the living daylights out of people. Inconsiderate driving would be someone changing lanes without indicating, cutting you up, slamming on their brakes in front of you, and the like. That carries one demerit point.
Yes.
The question one has to ask is, how is this about road safety?
Now, obviously, we're looking at what implementation, July the 1st this year. And
Yes.
at this point in time, I'm not even sure whether Aarto is ready for national implementation. But also, I think the key issue here is buy-in from the public. How much buy-in will there be?
Well, I think there'll be very little buy-in. I think the public are going to, I think the public have already seen this for what it is, and that is a huge money-making racket. And there are huge implications that go with that. Because, let's just remember what happened with the e-tolling issue where people didn't buy into it. And what happened is people just refused to pay e-tolls. And when I say people refuse to pay e-tolls, I'm talking about a very high proportion, somewhere in the order of close to 90% of people who are being billed for e-tolls are not paying at the moment. Now, we have another situation in the making here, where because the Aarto Act incorporates something called an enforcement order, which prohibits you from renewing your driving license card, your professional driving permit, or your vehicle license disc. And whether you have 1 or 100,000 of them makes no difference. It blocks those transactions on e-notice. And we have a large proportion of the public who are going to say to themselves, well, if you're not going to give me my license disc, then I'm not going to give you your licensing fees. And I don't think that government has actually thought this one through very clearly, to be very, very honest with you. But the other issue is that the amount of money that is going to be flowing through the coffers of the Road Traffic Infringement Agency, which is going to be renamed the Road Traffic Infringement Authority, is huge amounts of money. Just from the infringement penalty alone, infringement penalty levy alone, we're talking about close to R1 billion a year. Now, we've just had it announced by the Road Traffic Infringement Agency this Friday that's just gone by, that it has suspended its registrar, who likes to call himself CEO, together with other senior employees at the RTIA for serious maladministration arising out of the Auditor General failing their audit. Now, that's a very serious matter, because if you want public to have confidence and buy into this, they must buy into the fact that the money is going to be used properly. And if the money is just going to go into this massive feeding trough for people to steal from, then we have a huge problem, and the public will definitely not buy into that.
Well, Howard, thank you very much for that and for your time with us this morning on News and Views on Solar Media. We wish you all the best. Take care.
My pleasure. Keep well.
Howard Dembovsky, Chair of Justice Project South Africa, with us this morning, which takes us straight to the news. We'll be back.
Official invitation of Faik Zidane, head of Iran's Supreme Judicial Council.